Then the next class, so the first class we have studied in the diuretics was the carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Second one is the high ceiling or the loop diuretics, and the third class is the benzothiazine or the thiazide diuretics. So the further study of the benzene disulfonamide derivatives. We have studied these benzene disulfonamide derivatives in our previous class, that is the high ceiling or the high ceiling or the loop diuretics, right? Either they have prepared the heterocyclic derivatives like the furosemide. Okay, we have studied this in the carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, right? We have studied this in the carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. So they have prepared some heterocyclic derivatives, heterocyclic carbonic anhydrase inhibitors like the furosemide, and the second class is the metadisulfonamide benzene, right? If you have remember, we have studied two classes in the carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. One is the heterocyclic derivatives. The example is furosemide and the azosemide. And the second one is the metadisulfonamide benzene. In that, the example is the bemetinide, right? So they have further studied these benzene disulfonamide derivatives to find more efficacious carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. So these studies proved some compound with high degree of the diuretic activity. The chloro and the amino substitution, they gave compounds with the increased activity. If we substitute this metadisulfonamide benzene with the chloro and amino substitution, then it shows the increase in the diuretic activity. But these compounds were weak carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. So diuretic activity is there, but they are weak carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. So they show diuretic activity by some different mechanism, but not inhibiting the carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Okay. So when the amino group was acylated, when the amino group which is present in this metadisulfonamide benzene, because what they do, they in the benzothiazine diuretics, they substitute this benzene disulfonamide with the chloro and the amino substitution. Okay, so when amino group was acylated, so when the amino group which is present on this benzene disulfonamide, when it is get acylated, an unexpected ring closure take place. This compound possesses a diuretic activity independent of the carbonic anhydrase inhibitory activity, and a new series of diuretics called the benzothiazines was discovered. So this is how the benzothiazine was discovered. How it was discovered? That is, they further study the benzene disulfonamide derivatives. In that, they have substituted the amino or the chloro group. So when they substitute this chloro or amino group on the benzene disulfonamide moiety, then at that time an unexpected ring closure they found. So this class shows a very good diuretic activity independent of the carbonic anhydrase inhibitory activity. So they give the name of this class as the benzothiazines. Now, these diuretics are actively secreted in the proximal tubule and are carried to the loop of Henle and to the distal tubule. Okay. The major site of action of this compound is in the distal convoluted tubule, where this drug compete for the chloride binding site of the sodium chloride symporter and inhibit the reabsorption of the sodium and the chloride ion. And for this reason, they are referred as the saluretics because they excrete the salt, that is the sodium and the chloride. These drugs also inhibit the reabsorption of the potassium and bicarbonate ion, but to a lesser degree. Okay, so these drugs, benzothiazines, these drugs, they are actively secreted where? In the proximal tubule. And from proximal tubule, they carry it to the loop of Henle and to the distal tubule. If you recall the structure of the nephron, then there were after glomerulus, there was the first component of the nephron, that is the proximal tubule, and from that proximal tubule, these diuretic agents carried to the loop of Henle and to the distal tubule. And what is the action of this compound? The major action of this compound is found in the distal convoluted tubule. Over there, these drugs compete for the chloride binding site of the sodium chloride symporter, and thereby they inhibit the reabsorption of the sodium and the chloride ion. And that's why they are called as the saluretics, because they excrete the sodium and the chloride ion. So this is the structure of the metadisulfonyl benzenes, structure of the metadisulfonyl benzenes. So in this, when they acylate this metadisulfonyl benzene with the acylating agent, then there is some ring closure takes place. Okay, so what are the second ring by the acylating agent? This second, this amino and the sulfonyl, they means a ring closure takes place at this site by the acylating agents. And also when these metadisulfonyl benzenes when treated with either aldehyde or ketone, then also the ring closure takes place. So after acylation, thiazides are formed, and after treatment with the aldehyde or ketone, hydrothiazides are formed. Regarding the structural activity relationship, the second position tolerate small alkyl groups such as the methyl. So the second position, so this one position, it can tolerate small alkyl groups as CH3. Alkyl substitution on the second nitro position, alkyl position on the second nitro position also decrease the polarity and increases the duration of the diuretic action. Increase the diuretic action. Then the substitution in the three position determine the potency and the duration of action of the thiazides. So on this third position, okay, substitution on the third position determine the potency and the duration of action of the thiazides. Substitution with a lipophilic group at the third position gives a marked increase in the diuretic potency. Okay, so if you substitute the third position with some lipophilic group, then it shows a marked increase in the diuretic potency. Haloalkyl, aryl alkyl, or the thiether substitution increases the lipid solubility. If we substitute the third position with the haloalkyl, aryl alkyl, or the thiether group, then it increases the lipid solubility of the molecule and it yields compound with a longer duration of action. If we saturate this bond, the bond between carbon number 3 and 4, if we saturate carbon-carbon bond between 3 and 4 position of the benzothiazide 1,1 oxide, okay, so this thiazide ring, it contains benzothiazide 1,1 oxide ring, okay, so the name of the ring is the benzothiazide 1,1 dioxide. In our IPC nomenclature, we will nomenclate this, okay, so नाम याद रखो द नाम क्या नाम है benzothiazine 1,1 dioxide. So if we saturate the double bond between carbon number 3 and 4 of that nucleus, then it increases the potency of this class of diuretics approximately 3 to 10 fold. Then direct substitution of the 4, 5 or 8 position with alkyl group. So 4, 5 and 8 position. If we substitute this position with any of the alkyl group, then it diminishes the activity of the thiazides. Then substitution of the 6th position. So this position, 6th position. If we substitute this with the electron withdrawing group or the activating group, that group is essential for the diuretic activity. So the base substitution could be chlorine, bromine, then CF3, that is trifluoromethyl, and the nitro group. So there should be a activating group or the electron withdrawing group should be present at the 6th position of the thiazide. Then it shows better diuretic activity. Then the sulfonyl group on this position, sulfonyl group, it is mandatory to show a diuretic activity. So this is what about the ACR points of the benzothiazide class. Then the adverse effects. There are lots of adverse effects of each and every drug. If there is a drug, medicinal chemistry, it deals with the drugs, and each and every drugs are having the side effects or the adverse effects. So the adverse effects of these thiazide diuretics are hypersensitivity reaction, then hypokalemia. Now, what is hypersensitivity reaction? So, by using uh, these thiazide diuretics, some cross hypersensitivity may occur between the thiazides and the sulfonyl containing diuretics. Then the hypokalemia, that is potassium का level कम हो जाता है. Then a slight reduction in the cardiac output, plasma volume, and blood pressure. So it was observed that continuous use of these thiazide diuretics, the cardiac output is get decreased, then plasma volume is also get decreased, and the blood pressure is also get reduced. Then increase in the proximal tubule reabsorption of the luminal fluid and solute due to the reduction in the plasma volume. So the plasma volume is reduced because of the use of these benzothiazide diuretics. So if the blood reaches in the less concentration into the glomerulus, so whatever the blood reaches to the glomerulus, then most probably all of the luminal fluid is get reabsorbed at the initial component of the nephron. So that is the proximal tubule. Then the hypercalcemia or the hyperuricemia occur. Then the reduction in the glomerular filtration rate and the hyperglycemia. So these are the adverse effects of these thiazide or the benzothiazide diuretics. Uses, of course, the uses are same, that is, they are used in the treatment of the edema and the hypertension. Then the examples of the thiazide diuretics. Examples of the thiazide diuretics. So there are two drugs. One is the chlorothiazide and the another one is the hydrochlorothiazide. Okay, so by mistakenly again the structures are not visible over here. I told you now that there are certain problems that wait for a second. Okay, so these are the examples of the thiazides, diuretics. The one is the chlorothiazide and the another one is the hydrochlorothiazide. Uh, so this is the structure of the chlorothiazide and this is the structure of the hydrochlorothiazide. Okay, so regarding the IPC nomenclature, of course, we'll start from this position, that is SOO. So the numbering start from this sulfur. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as per, we have to nomenclate the structure as per alphabetical order. So the 6 chloro, then 2H, 1, 2, 4, benzo, benzothiadiazine, 7 sulfonamide, 1, 1 dioxide. So this is the IUPAC nomenclature of your chlorothiazide. Same for the hydrochlorothiazide. Again, the numbering from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 chloro. If you check out the structure, then the structure is same. Only the missing double bond is missed in this structure in between 3 and 4 position. Okay, and hence the name is the hydrochlorothiazide. So the IPC nomenclature is same, little bit difference. Only we have to mention the 3,4 dihydro, right? So 6 chloro, 3,4 dihydro, 2H, 1, 2, 4 benzothiadiazine, 7 sulfonamide, 1, 1 dioxide. So this is what the hydrochlorothiazide. So these are the example of the thiazide diuretics. Now this is the synthesis of our chlorothiazide. Chlorothiazide synthesis is there in our syllabus. So this chlorothiazide, it is synthesized from 2-chloroaniline. So this 2-chloroaniline is treated with the chlorosulfonic acid. So this 2-chloroaniline, when treated with the chlorosulfonic acid, results in the formation of our this intermediate product. So what will happen? So this 2-chloroaniline when treated, so 1 mole of the 2-chloroaniline when treated with the 2 mole of the chlorosulfonic acid, then what will happen? So this chlorosulfonic acid is get attached at this position, right? So this is how they get attached over here by the liberation of the water molecule. By the liberation of the water molecule, these two chlorosulfonic acids are get attached over here. SO2Cl and SO2Cl, and one H and one H from this position is get liberated. So the water molecule is get liberated, and this chlorosulfonic acid get attached over here. Then again this intermediate product is then treated with the 2 moles of the ammonia. It is treated with the 2 moles of the ammonia. Then what happen? The living group, the Cl, is get liberated with the hydrogen, because the NH3 is not get directly attached over here, because then there will be the valency problem. So one H from each ammonia molecule is get liberated with the Cl. So HCl is get liberated, and these NH2 are get attached over here to form our intermediate product. Then later on, this intermediate product is further treated with the formic acid, results in the ring closure, results in the ring closure, results in the formation of our final product, that is the chlorothiazide. Okay, results in the formation of what? Our final product, chlorothiazide. And chlorothiazide is get formed then by the hydrogenation, or by reduction, this bond is get removed, as the hydrogen ions are get attached over here to form our hydrochlorothiazide. Okay, so I think we have to remember only up to chlorothiazide, because hydrochlorothiazide synthesis is not there. Just you have to remember up to the chlorothiazide. Okay, you have to remember up to only chlorothiazide. So this ring closure takes place by the removal of the water molecule. So this is what about the synthesis of the chlorothiazide. Then the next drug is the benzthiazide. The next drug is the benzthiazide. So this is the structure of the benzthiazide. Again, we'll nomenclate the structure from this position. So 6 chloro. After 6 chloro, 3 dash, 1, 2, 3, 3 dash. Then phenyl, methyl, thiomethyl, 1, 2, 4, benzothiazine, 7 sulfonamide, 1, 1 dioxide. So this is what the benzthiazide, structure of the benzthiazide. Then the next one is the methiclothiazide. The next drug is the methiclothiazide. Now, what's about the methiclothiazide regarding the IPC nomenclature? So, all the IPC nomenclature start from this sulfur only. Okay, so 6 chloro. After 6 chloro, we have to nomenclate this chlorine. So, 6 chloro, then 3 dash chloro methyl, then 2 methyl, then 3 4 dihydro 2H, 1 2 4 benzothiazine, 7 sulfonamide, 1 1 dioxide. So that is the methiclothiazide. Then trichlormethiazide. Now what's about the trichlormethiazide? As the name suggests, it contains the 3 chlorine group. It contains the 3 chlorine group. Otherwise, the remaining structure is same. So again, start with the 6 chloro, then 3 dash dichloromethyl, 3 dash dichloromethyl, then 3 4 dihydro 2H, 1 2 4 benzothiazine, 7 sulfonamide, 1 1 dioxide. So here in this nomenclature they have mentioned 1 1 dioxo initially, but we can maintain same format. So we'll write down 1 1 dioxide at the last. Okay. So this is what all about the thiazide diuretics. So in that we have studied around 4 to 5 structures. Now the next one is the thiazide-like diuretics, the diuretics which gives its action like the thiazide diuretics. So what is thiazide-like diuretics? So the sulfonyl group para to the activating group of thiazide is replaced. Wait for a second. Okay. Okay, so this is what the thiazide-like diuretics. So the sulfonyl group, which is para, the sulfonyl group, which is para to the activating group. As we have discussed in the thiazide diuretics, so there was an activating group like the chlorine. Okay, so that activating group is any of the electron withdrawing group like the chlorine, bromine, CF3, sulfonyl, or anything. Okay, so the sulfonyl group, which is para to the sulfonyl group, which is para to the activating group of the thiazide, it is replaced by several other electronegative groups. Okay, so this sulfonyl group, it can be replaced with the several other electronegative groups with the retention of the diuretic activity, as this group may be amide, carbonyl, carboxyl, or any other group. Okay, so these diuretics, or where this sulfonyl group is get replaced with such kind of the groups, so these kind of diuretics are called as the thiazide like diuretics. The site of action, efficacy, electrolyte excretion pattern, and adverse effect resembles the thiazide. Okay. So what are the mechanism action, its efficacy, its adverse effects? They are same like the thiazide diuretics. Only the difference is what? The difference is what are the sulfonyl group is present over here. It is get replaced with the any of the electronegative group. That's it. And that's why they call as the thiazide like diuretics. These are the examples of the thiazide-like diuretics, that is the metolazone, cunethazone, chlorthalidone, and the indapamide. So these thiazide-like diuretics, the mechanism action, these is a structurally diverse group of sulfonamide derivatives, and they do not contain the benzothiazine ring. As we have discussed this benzothiazine ring in the thiazide diuretic. So these drugs, the thiazide-like drugs, the thiazide-like diuretics, they does not contain this benzothiazine ring. They have the same mechanism action and the similar therapeutic activities and adverse effect as the thiazide diuretics. So the mechanism of action is same. So what is the mechanism of action of the thiazide diuretics? That is they excrete the sodium and the chloride, and that's what they call as a saleratic agent. They increase the excretion of the sodium and the chloride by inhibiting the chloride channels. Okay, so that is what the mechanism of the thiazide diuretics. The drugs are, there is a class that is the quinazolinone derivatives. The quinazolinone derivatives, they contain two drugs, that is the metolazone and the cunethazone. So this is the moiety, that is the quinazoline 4-on. So this moiety is there in the metolazone and the cunethazone. So this quinazoline 4-on molecule has been structurally modified in a manner similar to the modification of the thiazide diuretics. Metolazone and the cunethazone are example of this class. The structural difference between the quinazolinone diuretics is the replacement of the 4-sulfone group. So as we know that these thiazide-like diuretics, they lack one sulfonyl group. So there is the presence of one electron withdrawing or electron activating group. So in this, the 4-sulfone group is replaced with a 4-keto group. Okay, so it is replaced with a 4-keto group. Because of their similar structures, it is not surprising that the quinazolinones have a diuretic effect similar to that of the thiazides. So the first drug is the metolazone. Okay, so the first drug is the metolazone. So if you found that the sulfonyl group is get replaced with this phenyl ring. Okay, over here also that sulfonyl group is replaced with the hydrogen only. Okay, so these are what the thiazide like diuretics. And this is our ring, that is a quinazoline ring, which is present in both the structure. So regarding the IPC nomenclature, so we will start numbering from this nitrogen, because the quinazoline ring is numbered like this, and hence I have given the basic structure of the quinazoline over here. So how the quinazoline ring is numbered? That is the numbering start from this nitrogen. As this is like the pyrimidine ring. This is like what? Pyrimidine ring. Pyrimidine ring contain 2 nitrogen at the position 1 and 3. So how we nominate the pyridine? That is number 1 to the 1 nitrogen and number 3 to the other nitrogen. Okay, so the quinazolone ring is also numbered like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As per alphabetical order, we have to nominate first chlorine. So 7 chloro, then 2 methyl, then 3 dash, 2 methyl phenyl, 4 oxo. Yes, now there is double bonds are missed at position 1, 2 and the 3, 4. Hence 1, 2, 3, 4 tetrahydroquinazoline 6 sulfonamide. Quinazoline 6 sulfonamide. So that is the IUPAC nomenclature of the metolazone. Then the next one is the next drug is the quinethazone. Now this is the structure of the quinethazone. Now regarding the IUPAC nomenclature, again we'll start the nomenclature from the 7 chloro, then 2 ethyl, 4 oxo, 1, 2, 3, 4 tetrahydroquinazoline, 6 sulfonamide. So this is what about the quinethazone. Then there is another agent, that is a chlorthalidone. It is belonging to the thalamidine derivatives. The previous two are the quinazolone derivatives. This one is the thalamidine derivatives. The name of the drug is the chlorthalidone. Now, chlorthalidone is an example of a diuretic in this class of the compound which bears structural analogy to the quinazolinones. Quinazolinones which were discussed earlier. This compound named as a 1-oxo-isoindolene because this drug, the chlorthalidone, it contain this 1-oxo-isoindolene moiety, 1-oxo-isoindolene moiety or a thalamidine moiety. Although the molecule exists primarily in the thalamidine form, so this compound primarily exists in the thalamidine form, the ring may be opened to form a benzophenone derivative. Yes, so this is the benzophenone derivative. So after ring opening, it forms a benzophenone derivative. Now this benzophenone form illustrate the relationship to the quinazolinone series of diuretics. So after ring opening, it forms benzophenone. So this benzophenone, they have little bit relationship with the quinazoline series of the diuretics. So whatever ring open hui to bhi chalega again, but it shows the diuretic activity. But it shows the diuretic activity belonging to the class of the quinazolinone, not to the class of the thalamidine derivatives. Okay. So this is the structure of our chlorthalidone. Now over here, there is no specific ring. Now this one is act as a substituent, that is a 1-oxo-isoindolene. So here is a functional group called as the amide, that is a sulfonamide. So we start our numbering from this carbon 1. So 2 chloro, 5 dash, 1 hydroxy, 3 oxo, 2H, isoindol 1YL. Isoindol 1YL. If the substitution is directly get attached to this nitrogen, then at that time we can call it as a indol. But now the substitution is get attached at the adjacent position to the nitrogen. So at that time it is called as the isoindol 1YL. Then the benzene sulfonamide. Okay. So this is what about the chlorthalidone. Then the last drug of this class is the indapamide. It is belonging to the subclass of the indolines, as this drug contain indolin ring. Okay. So indapamide, the prototypic indolin diuretic is the indapamide, which was reported as the diuretic in year 1984. This indapamide, it contains polar chlorobenzamide moiety. Yes, this is the polar chlorobenzamide. This one is the benzamide moiety. And a non-polar lipophilic methyl indolin. Yes, this one, methyl indolin. Now over here, this nitrogen is get directly attached to the this substituent, and hence it is called as the indolin. If it is get attached to the adjacent carbon, then at that time it was called as the iso. Okay, so this is what about the indolin, methyl indolin. In contrast to the thiazides, indapamide does not contain a thiazide ring, and only one sulfonamide group is present within the molecular structure. As this drug, these thiazide-like diuretics, they contain only one sulfonamide group, whereas the thiazide diuretics, they contain the two sulfonamide group. It is rapidly and completely absorbed from the GI tract and reaches its peak plasma level within 2 to 3 hours with a duration of action up to 8 weeks. The prolonged duration of action is associated with its extensive binding to the carbonic anhydrase in the erythrocytes. Yes, so it binds to the carbonic anhydrase enzyme and thereby it inhibits that enzyme. It exhibits biphasic kinetics with a half-life of 14 to 18 hours and elimination half-life of 24 hours. It is extensively metabolized with the several of the metabolites being shown, it was given in the diagram. So this is the metabolism of the indapamide. So first we will discuss about the structure of the indapamide. So again, amide is there. Okay, amide is there. So okay, so this one is what our benzamide. This one is what our benzamide. So we'll give the priority to this benzamide, and this one is act as a your substituent. So 4 chloro N dash 2 methyl 2 methyl 2 3 dihydro. There was a double bond in the structure of the indole, so there is absence of double bond, hence we call it as a 2 3 dihydro. Indole 1YL 3 sulfoamyl 1 2 3 sulfoamyl benzamide. So this is the IPC nomenclature of your indapamide. Right, the IPC start from the 4 chloro 1 2 3 4 4 chloro, then later on N dash 2 methyl 2 3 dihydro indole 1YL indole 1YL 3 sulfoamyl, and the remaining portion, this one, that is collectively called as a benzamide.